Hey there, and welcome back to a brand new Clockify tutorial. My name is Julian, and in today's video, we will be talking about managing expenses in Clockify. If you want to see how to record expenses, check out our other video for creating expenses. Now, let's jump right in. Before we start, to create an expense, you should ensure that all expense categories are in place. Click on the wheel icon at the top right and you will see some default categories Clockify offers. If you want to create a new expense category, click on the Add Category button. Type in a category name and click Create. If the category has a unit price, check the box and enter the price per unit. So like for example, $100 per box. In case the unit price changes, just edit the category by going to the menu on the right and select Edit. Change the price, click Save. Categories can be archived or deleted if they are no longer in use. Archived categories can be restored, while completely deleted categories cannot. Just click on the menu next to the one you want to archive and choose the Archive option. Now, that expense category will no longer be available when recording expenses. You can always restore it by repeating the same steps, only choosing the Restore option. If you want to completely delete a category, you first need to archive it, then delete it by choosing the Delete option and confirming the action. The expense report shows you an overview of expenses recorded for a specific period of time. You can customize the period for which you want to see expenses and use the filtering options to get specific information. You can use filters to display expenses created by specific team members, expenses tied to specific clients, projects, tasks, or categories. You can also filter expenses by specific currency, their status to filter between billable and non-billable expenses, or invoiced and uninvoiced, and even filter expenses without the note. Whether you applied filters or not, at the top you will see the total amount of recorded expenses and next to it, the amount that is billable for the selected time period. You can manually select expenses and mark them as invoiced or delete them. You can also delete expenses by clicking on the menu and choosing the Delete option, or choose the Edit option in case you notice a mistake and you want to change something. However you customize the expense report to be displayed, you can export it in a PDF, Excel, or CSV file, customize exactly what will be exported, and even export the receipts separately. Billable expenses can be invoiced to clients. When you're creating an invoice and importing your billable hours from a certain project, you can choose to import the billable expenses as well. You can choose how those expenses will be displayed, grouped by expense category, user, project, or in detail, in which case you select the information to display or exclude. When you are sending the invoice to the client, you can check this box to include the expense report along with receipts as a separate document. Imported expenses are marked as invoice so you don't accidentally invoice them twice. In case you wish to manually mark them as invoiced or uninvoiced, you can do it in the expense report by bulk selecting and marking them as invoiced or uninvoiced. Expenses can be included in the project's budget. When you are setting up an estimate for the project budget, check the option for billable expenses to be included into the budget. Now, when you log expenses for a certain project, they will also be extracted from the total budget amount alongside billable hours. Expenses can be submitted for manager or admin approval. To manage who can approve submitted time and expenses, go to the Permissions tab in the Workspace settings and check who will be handling the approval: admins and team managers, or admins and project managers. When you record an expense, you will get an option to submit it for approval. To do so, click on the option. When you submit it, the expense will change its tag to Pending. If you hover over the Pending Approval tag, you'll see the name of the user who submitted the expense. Approval is handled on the Approvals page by approving all submitted time and expenses at once, or one by one if you want. When you submit an expense, you will get an option to withdraw pending next to the pending tag in case you accidentally submitted it for approval already. If you do that, an admin or manager won't be able to approve time and expenses unless you send it again. Instead, click on this option and confirm the action. Each user can see and add their own expenses unless they are locked. If you lock timesheets past a certain date, it will also affect expenses, meaning regular users won't be able to edit or add new expenses for the past locked dates. If you want to lock time and expenses by a certain date, go to the workspace settings. Scroll all the way down and you will see an option to lock time and expenses. Switch automatically update lock date to on. Select lock frequency to be weekly, monthly, older than X amount of days, weeks, or months. When selecting the weekly option, you have to select 2 days. When the lock date gets updated, like Wednesday, and the first day of the week in your company, like Monday. This way, when a new week starts, like say on Monday, your team can still add their missing hours for the previous week before that week gets locked, which happens on Wednesday. For the monthly option, you should only choose the day of the month and the time of the day on which entries should be locked. And when you set an auto update lock older than 1 day, it means that at the end of that day, the lock date will automatically be updated so users can't edit the previous day's hours. Team managers can see and add expenses for their team members, while project managers can see expenses for members working on projects they manage. Admins can see and add expenses for everyone. If you're an admin or a team manager, you can see other people's expenses by clicking on the teammate picker in the upper right corner and edit them if allowed. To learn more about expenses, approval, or other Clockify features, make sure to check out our other videos on our website or check us out on YouTube. That's all for now. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.